Hello, my name is Harrington Botcon. We're back. We have architect June Palafox Jr. and the title of the program is Sins of Omission. But before we go on, June, our guest, told us ang ganda ng analysis niya about government. Imagine, I'll quote from you, June, okay? Imagine a jungle. Di ba ang pagkaalam natin, king of the jungle is the lion. Can you imagine if every 3 years or 6 years, yung king of the jungle being the lion is replaced by an elephant? And then after 3 years, the snake. And then after 3 years, a rhinoceros or something like that. My gosh, the topography will change physically. The whole imbalance of the jungle will go into total chaos. And maybe that's where we are. And you just thought of that during this show,
Now,
right?
just now.
But it's so true.
Yeah.
You made another recommendation. Yung sinasabi mo, let the academe be part of it.
Yeah, the management schools, governance schools. It cannot just be all urban planning analysis now or architectural engineering analysis. It's a managerial issue also.
It's
management.
So take it away from the politicians who do nothing but stall and bring it up to the academe. Yeah, after all, yun ang pinag-aaralan nila, di ba? Nation building ang academics eh.
Singapore Inc., Dubai Inc., Malaysia Inc., Hong
Free
Kong
from
Inc.,
politics.
Hong Kong Inc. They're so successful.
June, ikaw, bakit di ka nagpolitiko all these years? Very quickly, I just want to divert. Because, okay, you made so many recommendations. Ang galing ng mga urban plans mo. I've heard you for the last 5-6 years. You've probably done even longer than that. Professionally, in the public side, in the private side, you're very successful. Palafox has become the brand. How come you never ran? Considering ang daming rekomendasyon.
I think for one, I had projects all over the world. That's one. And my clients wouldn't allow me. And it's not in my blood as well. Although all the student days, I got elected. I was an activist. Eventually, I became a scholar in UP. Yeah, and I'm doing this because I spent 4 years of my life in the seminary. And I'm not exactly a saint, but it's first thing in the morning.
Nothing wrong with that.
First thing in the morning and last at night, I pray and look at not just my sins of commission, but sins of omission. Because for me, if you do something wrong, you do nothing. Like corruption. Observers say we're about 100 million Filipinos. Only 1% are corrupt, but the 99% are cowards.
Yes.
If only you have 10% courageous, patriotic Filipinos, I think we can overcome corruption. And I have reported so many times, I get death threats, libel cases.
I remember your problem with Subic. I had you on TV at that time, and we announced it quite loud and clear.
Yeah, it's more than that. It wasn't just Subic. Until now, I report when I see corruption. And I pay the correct taxes. I'm in the top 500 taxpayer, and I think 1 million more Filipinos should have paid more than I did.
June, how come, are you frustrated?
I'm not. It's a challenge. Sometimes I feel frustrated, but this is the only country we have. I have had many opportunities to change my passport.
Why didn't you?
I went to Harvard 6 times.
Why didn't you? You're successful, you're independent, you have work that can take you abroad in different parts of the world. You choose the weather and choose the climate. I mean... It
never crossed my mind. This is the only country we have.
Are we a hopeless cause?
No, if we only enroll more patriotic Filipinos.
What do we do with the 99 million Filipinos, the 99% who are cowards?
Well,
what do you suggest?
We are a very spiritual nation. Read the Bible. 366 times it says there, fear not, do not be afraid. And corruption comes from 2 Latin words, cor, the heart, rapture, to break the heart. So we are a broken-hearted society because of corruption. And corruption kills. Let's say many of this infrastructure that got destroyed, let's say a bridge, if there was a 20% kickback of a corrupt politician, where did the contractor reduce the 20%? Public schools, public hospitals, these are our refugee center. If somebody got 26% out of that, where did the contractor reduce? And hospitals are supposed to be 50% over and above the building code. And you see hospitals that are flooded. And I cannot understand. Hospitals should be 50% over-specified. Schools the same.
Same. Yeah. Over-specified dapat.
Over-specified dapat.
Why? Because of the voluminous amounts of people that go
People,
in and out.
and they're usually our refugee centers in case of disasters.
Yes, yes, yes.
And
Dual purpose.
so many things like I think the response was better this time, but look how pathetic are the refugee centers. International standards, every resident must have 1 square meter of evacuation area, and ideally 10 hectares.
May ganun pala yun, ah.
Yeah.
May
Ideally, so
plano pala
yeah,
yan.
so that around 10 hectares you should have a designated area for emergency clinic, emergency water station, emergency food station, emergency shelter, and a helipad. Which of our refugee centers have that?
Wala.
There's a presidential decree that every barangay must have a rainwater harvesting facility. Which barangay has a rainwater harvesting facility?
Walang implementasyon.
Wala. Maybe
So-
there's Fort Bonifacio with the Burgos Circle, they have it underneath.
In that, I didn't even know that they
Yeah.
had it in Burgos Circle.
Yeah, below it.
Below it.
Singapore has 17 of those all over Singapore, and they recycle the water for drinking water. Yeah.
The president currently enjoys a brand of integrity, honesty, and no corruption. The matuwid na daan, as shown on TV just this past week, with reference to the our condolences to Secretary Robredo, shows how government is trying to work very hard towards matuwid na daan, especially last Saturday night's vigil, wherein the cabinet gave their own necrological services. Watching closely, it made me realize, hey, these guys actually work. So it seems, this is my perception.
Yeah.
If they do work, why is it projects that are real, that you see, and many other professionals see, bakit nila winiwaylay ito? Tinataboy lang. Hindi ko maintindihan. Okay, we've got Ejercito, Governor Ejercito. I heard him on radio. I wasn't sure. I think you were out of the country then, but I heard he brought up a long point, and he went up to the president. He brought up his points of view. Na, hey, we've got to resolve Laguna Lake, at least Laguna Lake. But in the last one, Haiku, which is not even a storm, ano lang yan, habagat lang, ano?
Yeah.
The inundation of Central Luzon was horrific. Ang dami namatay doon, ano?
Yeah.
Of course, hindi natin nakita yung nangyari sa Santa Cruz, sa Muntinlupa, sa Laguna, yung tumaas ang tubig, siyempre kinain yung mga bahay nila doon. Yun ba may solution pa even in this very late day?
It can still be done, but it's a package of solutions, like reforesting the kinalbong kabundukan.
Pero di ba ginagawa na nila yan?
It will take time. Then deepen Laguna Lake and all the rivers. Like Laguna
Dredging, ayun ang presidente, di ba?
Yeah, corruption
daw
down dredging. And there
Is
are
it true, do you agree with that? May corruption in dredging? Sabi niya,
Possible.
kinukuha ang lupa sa isang tabi, like you take it in the north, you dump it in the south. Well, it's the same.
My proposal there is, let's say gagawin na rin yung, one of our proposals before was the 250-kilometer road dikes around Laguna Lake. And Secretary Singson, he decided not to push for at least the first 100 kilometers. So with the road dike, you elevate it, the dredge material, you put it, integrate it with the road dike. So you
So yun ang
uplift.
landmass mo?
Yeah, you uplift it. Then you can create a 250-kilometer
All around the lake.
linear park like Luneta, 250 kilometers apart, and you can create new townships. And this new
On
township...
top of that dredged material, pwede ba?
No, yung park yung dredged material, but uplift mo na lang with good material the rest of the area. We can create a la Chicago overlooking Lake Michigan, or Geneva overlooking Geneva Lake. And with that urban land, I think it will at least 5 to 10 times ang land value appreciation.
My gosh, oo, ang ganda kasi ng Laguna de Bay.
Yeah, you have a
Laguna de Bay, yeah, it's
what
beautiful.
waterfront amenity without a tsunami.
Without the tsunami, because controlled area, no?
So we've done many of those in the Middle East, excavate the desert to create artificial.
If you can do that in Saudi, that can be done here. Mas maliit lang naman ang Laguna de Bay.
It's natural. Ang laki-laki ng Laguna Bay. You can put Singapore inside Laguna de Bay. 90,000 hectares yan.
So, yung sinasabi, you can even create that wharf paikot lang, a highway.
A highway.
My gosh, that's fantastic.
And a linear park. It will be like Lakeshore Boulevard of Chicago or around Geneva Lake. And there's so many examples elsewhere in the world. We've done a lot of them in many parts of the world. Natural, artificial lagoons. It's there.
Let's talk about the current government. Do you see a lot of intelligent people who understand these issues? I'm sure
you have a network of
There are
businessmen and professionals.
Secretary Singson, I think he's an honest man, he's a good manager.
Yeah, it seems like he is.
But I think he has to navigate the red tape and bureaucracy. He needs help. And because they are press
But with the strength and the power, the authority, the popularity of the president,
Yeah.
you can bypass and railroad anybody.
Yeah. Secretary of Public Works very good.
Why can't he just railroad? But being scared, not being able to handle the situation, being straight and not corrupt, but being sidewinded by other politicians, that's also a sin of omission.
Yeah.
Kailangan tapakan mo
Because,
kung sino kailangan mo
in fact,
tapakan.
some of them have shared with me in the commission on appointments, conditions for getting appointed. Some of the members of the commission on appointments, they have a number of requests, otherwise you don't get confirmed.
Nako, iyan na naman yung corruption. Senado na naman.
Yeah.
Iyan na naman ang
And
problema. Yan ang problema na naman. So
So-
again, the
some-
politicians who enjoy the mandate from the people, their brothers, their sisters, their relatives are all into power. They're all in the same. They step on the Constitution. You know, in the Constitution, bawal ang dynasty, and yet you have father and son in government, brother and sister. Hey, they have it in the Senate. Magkapatid, di ba?
In fact, the question now why was we were very well restricted and we admire him. Secretary Just Robredo, how come he was never confirmed? It's only after he died that they start talking
Well,
about
on Facebook, umiikot, it's si Louis Villapuerte daw. Kasi yung problema sa Bicol. But then again, that's true, no? I didn't even know about the work of Robredo. It was all mirrored, brought up this week, and I was quite surprised.
I know him
man.
personally because one of my recommendations, which I share with others also.
Why wasn't he strong enough to push forward these plans that are good for the country for the long term? I mean, he was an effective, supposedly,
The
DILG.
inclusive development was really for that. So it's not just for the strong and powerful. He was working for the poor as well. And behind the scenes, we were helping him together with the urban poor associates.
So it's not all that easy, you know.
Yeah, and
But, pwede ba kanyari lumapit sa yung presidente? Sabihin niya, si President Noynoy, sabihin niya, oh, Jun, ayusin natin to. Di bali na yung politiko. Kung may political will si presidente, kaya, di ba?
Kaya.
Ang problema niya lang, pagtapos niya, after 3 years, baka yun na naman maging
kaya
problema.
sabi nga ni Professor Winnie Munsod, tayong mga taxpayers, Filipino, we should be more vigilant now. Maybe we have this, not just from me, but many recommendations. Make it as our checklist, and we start scoring the checklist, and we follow it ourselves, and so on. And like, I'm sorry if I keep comparing to other countries like Singapore.
But you need to compare. How
Yeah.
else will you do a
The
measurement?
drainage master plan of Singapore, first they did the urban planning and the land use plan, then they did the drainage master plan. After they done the drainage master plan, it's reviewed by the Singapore Institute of Architects and Singapore Institute of Engineers. There's no such thing here.
So walang politiko, in other
Wala.
words. Professionals
Yeah,
lang.
kasi nangyayari dito, somebody comes out with a single solution. It may be a good solution, but there might be better solutions, like these big dams being proposed. Nobody does big dams anywhere except China. What they do elsewhere in the world now are a series of smaller dams. Ala Ifugao rice terraces.
It cascades
Yeah.
down, so you can catch it as you go along.
The Ifugaos have done that 1,000 years ago. That's safer.
That's safer. Kesa one big one.
One
because,
big one. They made, Luzon happened in Central Luzon now.
pag
Plus
bumigay,
the earthquake fault line.
isa pa yun.
Where earthquake zone number 4, the highest
And
in
you
the
can
world.
derive more energy with
Yeah.
cascading dams.
Cascading. That's
Oh,
what,
it's cascading.
even Japan, they do that.
So what you're
Cascading.
saying is the collective effort of the academe, the professionals, come together,
Yeah.
politically free,
Yeah.
to make recommendations, to come up where it is best, and leave the politicians out of it,
Yeah,
ideally.
yeah.
But it won't happen, will it? In your lifetime, will it happen? I don't know. June, you know, we come out on TV, we talk about these issues. Many people watch. I believe that a lot of the people, the intellectuals, do watch. Maybe the problem is the democracy I keep speaking about, because those who have the majority don't really care and watch noontime shows and try to get what, you know, the carrot and the stick problem.
Yeah.
They don't really care. And I've had my sad experience of going down to the barangay levels where I see people queuing up asking for 100, 200, 300, 500. It bothers me where the barangay chairman get the money to give to these people.
Yeah.
cash out. It's believe ako how they hide. It's called creative accounting. Um, Putting professionals above the politicians, was that the case in Singapore, Dubai, America, the
they are.
Western worlds?
They rely on expert advice. Like
Outside the politics?
Yeah, like the ruler of Dubai, I did not even know where Dubai was. I was name hired. I was invited by the ruler of Dubai.
You're kidding.
I was working on Metroplan. I told them I need to finish Metroplan, and they waited 120 days. There were 20 of us from 14 countries. We were invited, and they listened to us. And Singapore the same.
Ang galing. You mean they even invited professionals from all over the world?
20 of us from 14 countries. I was the only Southeast Asian and the youngest in the group. And when I got the invitation, a member of the ruling class was here to personally invite me.
Oh my God.
And I did not even know where Dubai was that time. Yeah.
But they actually brought professionals. Pinakinggan nila.
Yeah, they listen.
Hindi mga politiko nagdi-decide ito gagawin natin.
Like maybe, this may be relevant because you live in Alabang. Once council meeting, they invited us. They asked us, should they put humps, speed bumps? So I work from urban planning together with the traffic management people. And you know our recommendation? No humps. And we have recommendations like, why not? The hump is addressed for those incapable of following rules.
Correct.
You discriminate against those who can follow rules. Number two,
I believe that.
Number two, when you lost speed, you get frustrated. You speed up in between humps.
Speed up, yes.
Number three, you have more pollution. Every time you brake,
you're
slow
stopping
down.
though.
Number four, it's not designed for emergency vehicles. You can get a heart attack because you cannot reach the hospital because of the humps. Or you cannot catch the criminal because you have to go to the hump. Or the fire truck cannot go faster. And the city council followed us. Because the local leaders...
But not the Alabang community.
Alabang community.
Ayaw. Mas marunong sila eh.
I lived there and I was part of the master plan. And I was also governor of the Village Association.
But they did not follow your recommendation. They
didn't.
went ahead.
They
No,
went
in
ahead.
fact, they're putting up more and more humps.
Yeah.
Well, a lot more humps.
Other communities, they just put speed radars.
Yeah, mas madali hulihin yun
Speed
eh.
radars, yeah.
Mas madali hulihin yun eh. Because I don't believe the humps either, to tell you the truth. I think it's just more pollutive and it's more problematic, to tell you the truth. June, we've got 4 more minutes to go before we end the program. What is it if the president and people like Butch Abad, who are obviously very close to the president, Purisima, who seems to be handling the purse of the country as far as borrowings and moving the monies around the country, Butch because of DBM, and the president himself, and Babe Singson, and the cabinet, who I'm sure care, because Matuwid na Daan seems to be, I don't think there's a mean bone in the body of Noy Noy. It doesn't seem the type. Okay? Never mind the rest of the family, but just him per se. Should he be listening? What recommendation, what would you like to tell him right now?
Maybe take these recommendations, prioritize them, and if it would be the low-hanging fruits, like elevated walkways. That's doable. It can be done within the next year or so. And that was my term paper. That was my paper also at ADB. ADB paid before that to make our cities more walkable, even during flood times.
So, andyan na yung problema.
Nandiyan na.
Ito na solusyon
Then
muna. Temporary yan.
adaptive measures.
Adaptive.
Because mitigation measures takes a long time. The road dikes.
Pero dapat sabay.
Sabay dapat. So, in fact, in my recommendation for the 2 presidents, we have a list of immediate action program, what can be done within the next 100 days. Then, short term, within the next year, medium term until end of 2016, long term, 2020 and beyond. I gave that.
Meron na.
Yeah.
Just so, in case someone in Malacanang has decided to put it to the side, put it in their pocket, for one reason or another, you've already made these recommendations.
It's with them.
It's already with
It's
them.
with them.
It's with the office.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll take it from there. Thank you very much, June.
Yeah.
Very
Thank you
interesting.
for allowing me to share again with your audience. We might be able to save more lives.
That should be our objective,
Yes.
first and
Save
foremost.
more
Not
lives.
necessarily the expense, the future expense, the borrowing, whatnot. But if we can save one life, we would have already succeeded, correct?
Yeah. And,
This is what you do.
and billions of man-hours lost.
Billions of man-hours.
Yeah.
Thank
Not
you
to
very
mention
much.
the infrastructure, the properties, making us less globally competitive.
Okay. Should our viewers wish to get in touch with you, they can just log on to palafox.com. I'm sure that's...
Yeah, we have a
madali lang
website.
yan. You have a website.
www.palafoxassociates.com.
Associates, may associates.com.
.com, yeah.
Or even Palafox, it will lead you
It
to
will
that.
lead you there.
It will lead you there pag
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, June. Maraming
Thank you.
salamat.
Thank you, Harry.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we close, the frustration builds up, but you see, it will stay there. And again, another TV show, and tapos na naman, we go on to the next TV show and another guest. No, alam mo, it's got to stop. Now, many of you are watching. Maybe some of you are close to the president. Maybe some of you are close to the powers that are. Maybe some of you are even closer, if not married to, or in the family of those who make these gargantuan decisions for our country. Do your part and act now. Have them watch this show. Pick it up. It'll be on the tube, the YouTube, or just go Google Talk to Harry and you'll find this show. GNN Talk to Harry. And watch this show again and listen to the architect, June Palafox. And should you not even want to do that, you want to go straight to the source, Google him, go straight to him. I'm sure he makes himself available to you and to the powers that are. Either way, the objective should be singular. Like we've said that. I mean, if we can save one life, great. If we can save the billions of man-hours, great. If we can improve the country, that's exactly what we're supposed to do, nation build. Either way, we have to take part. Hindi pwedeng nanonood ka lang and on to the next TV show. Do your part. Gee, do something. Get off your ass and do it. And let's improve our country. Maraming salamat po. My name's Harry Tambuatko. You've been watching Talk to Harry. Thank you again, Architect.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You are what you watch. You are what you watch.